Gabigol. Gabriel Barbosa Almeida, São Bernardo do Campo, August 30, 1996, better known as Gabriel Barbosa, or by nicknames such as Gabigol, Gabi, or by the stage name Lil Gabi, is a Brazilian footballer who plays as a striker. He made his professional debut for Santos, in 2013, against Flamengo. Soon he became a starter and gained recognition from the Santos fans as the team's top scorer in the season and top scorer in the 2014 Copa do Brasil. Football Club. Base categories. Supported by his family and football acquaintances, he was discovered by Zito during a futsal friendly for São Paulo against Santos himself, in which he scored all 6 goals for his team in a match that ended 6-1. He arrived at the club at the age of 8 and became a great promise for Santos' youth team, being well known since he was a little boy as the club's jewel. He scored more than 600 goals in the youth divisions and, since he was 14 years old, he accumulated calls to the youth teams in Brazil, with a fine valued at €50 million. Wagner Ribeiro, businessman, stated. He has the left leg of Ganso, the technique of Neymar and the speed of Lucas. Professional. Gabriel was promoted to the senior squad in 2013 at the age of 16. He made his debut in a friendly match on January 16, 2013 in a 4-0 victory against Grêmio Barueri. However, his debut in official matches took place on May 26 against Flamengo in a 0-0 draw, a game also which marked Neymar's last appearance for the club. At the age of 17, he had his preemptive purchase rights sold to Barcelona. His first goal scored as a professional was on August 21, in a match valid for the round of 16 of the 2013 Copa do Brasil against Grêmio with a 1-0 victory. Internazionale team. On August 26, 2016, Gabriel traveled to Italy to sign a contract with Internazionale. The striker returned to Brazil after undergoing medical tests and signing a contract with the Italian club to play his last match for Santos, against Figueirense at Vila Belmiro Stadium, on August 28. On August 30, 2016, Gabriel was announced as a signing from Internazionale, signed for €27.5 million. He made his debut for Internazionale in a game against Bologna, for the 6th round of the 2016-17 Serie A, in the 1-1 draw. After several games on the bench, he returned to play against Sassuolo, entering the final minutes of Inter's 1-0 victory. On January 3, 2017, Gabigol scored his first goal for Inter Milan, in the friendly between Real Linense and Inter Milan. His only goal in official matches for Internazionale team came on February 19, in a 1-0 win over Bologna. Benfica. On August 31, 2017, Internazionale announced Gabriel's loan to Benfica. He made his debut on September 12, in the 2-1 defeat by CSKA Moscow, in the Champions League group stage. His first goal for Benfica took place on October 14, scoring the winning goal by 1-0 over Alhanense, valid for the Taça de Portugal. Return to Santos Football Club. On January 25, 2018, Santos announced the return of Gabriel, on loan until the end of 2018. On February 10, he made his debut, scoring one of Santos' goals in the 2-2 draw with Ferroviária, in Araraquara. In the next round, he closed the scoring in the 2-0 victory against São Caetano on his return to Vila Belmiro Stadium. Flamengo team. 2019. On January 8, he was announced on loan from Internazionale until the end of 2019. On January 11, Flamengo officially confirmed the signing. He was presented with the number 12 shirt in honor of the fans, but started to wear the number 9 shirt. On February 24, also for Campeonato Carioca, Gabigol scored his first goal for Flamengo, in a 4-1 victory over Americano Football Club. He was responsible for Flamengo's victory in the debut of the Copa Libertadores de América, Libertadores Championship, in which he secured a 1-0 victory over San Jose, from Bolivia. At the end of the Carioca Championship, Gabriel was the competition's second top scorer and entered the competition's ideal selection. In the debut of the Brazilian Championship, Gabigol scored in Flamengo's victory against Cruzeiro by 3-1. In the return match for the round of 16 of the Libertadores of America, against Emelec, Gabriel stood out again, scoring both goals in normal time and tying the aggregate score of the decision. Since the Rubro-Negro lost the first leg also 2-0, Flamengo would qualify for the quarter-finals on penalties. For the Libertadores Championship quarter-finals, he scored the equalizing goal against Internazionale in the return match to classify the team to the Libertadores semi-finals after 35 years, reached the incredible mark of 26 goals in 2019 in just 8 months of action, isolating himself in the national artillery. On October 23, he scored 2 goals in a 5-0 victory against Grêmio Club in the Libertadores semi-finals, helping Flamengo reach the final after 38 years. In the first final in a single game in the history of the Libertadores Cup, Flamengo lost to River Plate until the 45th minute of the final stage. It was when Gabriel, in 5 minutes, scored the 2 goals of the heroic comeback. These goals gave Flamengo the second championship after 38 years of waiting, reaching the mark of 40 goals in the season. At the end of the Brazilian Championship, Gabigol also appeared among the top 10 scorers of a Brazilian Championship edition of all time, tying in 8th place with Careca, who in 1986, for São Paulo club, also scored 25 times in the championship. He crowned the year with a golden key, being elected the Golden Ball by Playcar magazine and the 2019 King of America by El País newspaper. 2020. It was definitively acquired on January 27, with 90% of its rights purchased for €18 million. Gabriel signed with the Rubro-Negro for 5 seasons, until December 2024. With the acquisition, he became the most expensive purchase in the history of Brazilian football, surpassing teammate Jorge de Arrascaeta. Gabigol announced his stay with the phrase, "If it's for the good of the nation, I'll stay." His first game of the year was on February 3, in a 3-1 victory over Resende, the club in which Gabigol made his debut for Flamengo in 2019. On February 8, he scored in Flamengo's 2-0 victory over Madureira, thus reaching his 45th goal. With that goal, he equaled Hernane's mark and became Manaus' top scorer in the decade, 2011 to 2020. By scoring in Flamengo's 3-0 victory against Atlético Paranaense for the Supercopa do Brasil, Gabigol reached his 47th for Flamengo. With the goal, Gabigol equaled Van der Love, Leo Moura and Obina, as Flamengo's second top scorer in the 21st century, behind only Renato Abreu, with 73 goals. 2021. In the first game of the main team together after returning, in a game valid for the 7th round of Carioca on March 31, Gabriel was the author of the last goal of the 3-0 victory over Bangu, after receiving the pass from Vitinho. On April 5, he scored 2 goals in a 5-1 victory over Madureira, valid for the 8th round of the Carioca Championship. With these 2 goals, Gabriel reached 73 goals with the club's shirt, becoming Flamengo's top scorer in the 21st century, tying with Renato Abreu. On April 11, 2021, he scored one of Flamengo's goals in the 2-2 draw with Palmeiras in normal time, forcing a penalty shootout. He converted his charge and helped Flamengo to be twice champion of the Supercopa do Brasil, winning by 6-5. With the goal scored in the Super Cup, Gabriel, who was tied with Renato Abreu with 73 goals, became the top scorer of the century for Flamengo, with 74 goals. 2022. On February 2, closed the 3-0 victory over Boa Vista in the 3rd round of the Carioca Championship. He also did it on February 10, in a 2-1 victory over Audax in the 5th round of Carioca. In that game, Gabriel reached the mark of 150 games with Flamengo's shirt. On February 13, in the 5-0 victory over Nova Iguaçu in the 6th round of the Carioca Championship, he scored the third goal of the match, taking a penalty and providing an assist for Pedro to score the fourth goal. In that match, he reached 200 goals in his career, 83 for Santos, 1 for Inter, 1 for Benfica, 107 for Flamengo, 5 for the main team of Brazil and 2 for the Olympic team. On February 20, he scored Flamengo's first goal in the 2-2 draw with Atlético Mineiro in a match valid for the Brazilian Super Cup, which ended up going to penalties and was won by Atlético by 8-7. With the goal scored, Gabriel reached 7 goals scored in decisions for the club, Libertadores, 3 goals, 2 against River Plate and 1 against Palmeiras, Supercopa, 3 goals, against Atlético PR, Palmeiras and Atlético Mineiro in Recopa Sul-Americana, 1 goal, against Del Valle, equaling Zico. Also with that goal, he became the first athlete in the club's history to score a goal against his 11 main rivals. On February 23, he scored the second goal in the 3-1 victory over Botafogo Club, in a game for the 8th round of the Carioca Championship. He also did the second in the 2-2 draw with Resende in the following round. He scored 2 more goals on March 12, in the 6-0 defeat of Bangu in the 11th round of the Carioca Championship. On March 16, he scored the goal for the Flamengo in the 1-0 victory over Vasco, in the first leg of the semi-finals of Carioca. On March 23, 2022, he was honored together with Nunes and set his feet on the Maracana Walk of Fame. He scored Flamengo's goal on April 2, in the 1-1 draw with Fluminense valid for the second leg of the Carioca final, but due to the defeat in the first game, 2-0, the Rubro-Negro ended up losing the title. Despite the defeat, Gabriel was again Carioca's top scorer. It was also in 2020, with 9 goals, reaching the 9th career scorer, 5 for Flamengo and 4 for Santos. He made the first of the 3-1 victory over Talleres in the second round of the Libertadores group stage. With that goal, he reached 23 goals in the tournament and became the best Brazilian scorer for a single club alone, surpassing Célio Silva who had scored 22 goals for Nacional. He scored one of Flamengo's goals in the 3-1 victory over São Paulo team in the second round of the Brazilian Championship, reaching 12 goals in the season. On April 29, he scored a brace in a 3-2 victory over Universidade Católica in the third round of the Libertadores. With the goals, Gabriel reached 26 goals in the competition, surpassing Fred and Palhinha with 25 and only behind Luizão as the Brazilian with the most goals in the tournament, with 29 goals. Gabriel opened the scoring in the 2-0 victory against Altos in the Copa do Brasil. After 4 games without scoring, Gabi scored the turnaround goal of a Fla-Flu in the 8th round of the Brasileiro. Now under the command of coach Dorival Jr., Gabriel scored the second goal of a 2-0 Flamengo victory against Cuiabá. 2 games later the striker made his mark against America MG in a 3-0 victory for Flamengo, but also, in the same game, he missed his second penalty for Flamengo team. On July 2, Gabi scored against her youth club Santos in a 2-1 victory. In the following game, Gabriel scored a goal in Flamengo's 7-1 defeat of Tolima for Libertadores of America. Gabigol reached an important mark on September 4, against Serra team, for the 25th round of the Brazilian Championship. He completed 200 games with Flamengo's shirt and also completed 100 goals in the Brazilian Championship, breaking the record that belonged to Roberto Dinamite. In the 2022 Libertadores final, Gabriel scored the goal that decided Flamengo's third title in the competition. With the red and black shirt, Gabriel scored in the Libertadores decisions of 2019, 2021 and 2022. Gabriel ended the season with 29 goals and 5 assists in 63 appearances this year. Gabigol became Flamengo's new number 10 after the retirement of Diego Ribas. Attention! These are informations about the career of soccer player Gabigol. Till here, they are still in progress. He continues to write his story shining in the world of football, so his story didn't stop here. If you like the content, press like and follow the channel. It helps me a lot to make more content about Brazilian football players.